Good morning, market snipers. Welcome back. This is Jesse. We're getting started early today because the markets are moving fast. The markets, Bitcoin, and the stock market is crashing. Of course, the altcoins are too. First half of the live stream, we will cover Bitcoin, altcoin, stocks, and stick around in the second half. We will cover your chart requests. So just make sure to put in the ticker symbol. See if I can keep the mic up. Sometimes this stand is a little weird. But anyways, second half, just put in the ticker symbol, the asset name, the asset class, and we will cover your chart requests. But we just want to make sure that I can find it and search for the asset you want me to chart quickly and keep the live streaming. Help me with the algorithms. I'd appreciate it. Smash the like button, comment, repost the stream, share with your friends and family, all that stuff as usual. I would appreciate it. And good morning. I'm good. Thank you. How are you? Good morning. Isaiah Tarley. Hopefully I'm saying that correctly. Wes Diddy 4825. My man, my brother. Good morning. Yeah, we'll probably rock and roll earlier, most likely, and we are. It's 8:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, earlier than usual. DJR7859, long time market sniper. What's up? Hope all is well. Thank you. Appreciate that. Hey. Azar Zog. I know you're eager, but and it's not energy drinks. That would be multiple. I only had one. I had the Celsius. I think it's healthier than like typical energy drinks. According to the label, I don't know if it is. Some people told me that it's not, but it's definitely better than like a Red Bull or something. But stop drinking your energy drink. Yep, done. Start the stream already. Okay, calm down, relax. Yes, sir. DJR, buy the right dip. Yep, that's why I've been saying. It had been cemented in my trading flow. Thanks. Yep. Buy the dip, blah, blah, blah. And then they become DCA bros. Instead of buying the dip all the way down, instead of buying the wrong dip, instead of becoming a DCA bro all the way down in a bear market, JO says, buy the right dip. I've never seen someone else say that. So when I started saying buy the right dip back in like 2021, I hadn't seen anyone else use that, and I still don't see people use that except for, of course, snipers. So everyone says buy the dip, buy the right dip, right? Yeah. Good morning. Craig Love L6880. Thomas, thank you for reposting the stream. Appreciate that. Yeah. It's on the watch list for sure. Yeah, we can look at it. It's probably going to do similar things to, we'll look at it second half of the live stream. But Bitcoin and the stock market is crashing. Bitcoin is at 84,300. This is not a black swan. What did I post today? This is not, should we pull it up? Yeah, let's pull it up. Real quick. Can you see that? Yeah. Just a reminder, it's never a black swan, and it's always about the charts. We've been analyzing Bitcoin every single day. Probably meant to say every single day on the live streams, but also true that I'm going to sneeze. Maybe not. We've been we've been analyzing Bitcoin every single day. We post Bitcoin charts every day. We live stream every day that the markets are open, and we cover Bitcoin in every live stream. So pretty close, pretty close. Foresight crew, yes sir. Emperor, yep, 100%. Too tired to write a response. I know Elite Don really, really wanted to believe in $150,000 Bitcoin. Elite Don really wanted to believe the talking heads again. Elite Don really wanted $200,000 Bitcoin. I mean, who doesn't? But the markets are the markets and the charts are the charts and everything else is just noise. Always stay unbiased. Don't be a perma bull or a perma bear. Swing trader. So, anywho, that was a post from earlier. Yep. All right, let's keep it rock and rolling. We're gonna jump into Bitcoin first. We're already looking at it, but this is the daily chart. We had the up arrow until not, and we talked about on Tuesday the 20th, there was a sell signal. There was a candle close below the trailing dots. There's a candle close below the upward sloping trend line. Back test, back test, back test, battle, 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 and then big move down. So big push down, sell, follow through. This is called follow through. And we talked about when Bitcoin took this level out here, that's putting in a lower low, right? Then this is a lower high. Then this is a lower low over here, taking out this pivot point. And now if we get a candle close here, it takes out this pivot point. If Bitcoin closes at 84,635, any close below there roughly is going to take out this pivot point. And that signals we're going lower, right? So start getting candle closes below $86,000, right? We don't have that yet, but today probably will. We start seeing candle closes below $86,000 probably today, most likely today. The probabilities increase that we're going to go down and hit $76,000. There are reasons to go hit 76,000 and below, and we'll show some of that. But we'll get to it all. We will get to it all. Weekly chart talked about on Sunday when the weekly chart closed at 86,376. That's bearish engulfing candle. So before it even happened, it was happening in real time. It was earlier last week. So there's still 3 or 4 days left in the week, but could be a bearish engulfing candle. That's not bullish. Sometimes it reverses, but most often than not, it's bearish, right? Similar to when we talked about and called out the bearish engulfing candle on the 3-week chart. Many faded that one. We talked about it when it was down here. We talked about it as it was pushing up towards the end. We talked about it. Closed and even gave an exact example over here of it going down lower and lower, right? So here we are. Price is still going down lower. Price is still not trending upward to new all-time highs at 126. Price is still not trending towards 150. Price is still not going to make a new all-time high by end of January, which is 2 more days. In hindsight, the talking heads were wrong again. As Emperor said, where's my live stream? Oh, let's take off the banner. We don't need that anymore. Oops. Yeah, we just got rock and rolling too fast, but it's all right. Comments. Just like Emperor said on the reply to my post, foresight crew is greater than hindsight crew. We started at 8:20. just a couple minutes. 8:29, 8:28. Started earlier, but you can always replay it on YouTube as well. But you're probably not gonna miss too much. Probably not gonna miss too much. Probably good. I rambled for the first couple minutes, so you're good. You're good. We're right in the mix. We are right in the mix. So daily chart. You can blame the black swan again if you're a talking head. You can blame XYZ. We put out the Wyckoff chart on October 8th. Wyckoff distribution. About 95% of it played out to the downside. We covered it in real time the entire way down. We talked about the weekly chart having bearish divergence. We talked about the monthly chart having bearish divergence. We talked about all the higher time frames flipping bearish the entire way. We talked about MicroStrategy being in a bear market and is the canary in the coal mine for Bitcoin still. So we're going to cover that more. It has already hit the 200-week moving average. And that is my main thesis for Bitcoin, with possible lower prices on Bitcoin too, right? So possible lower targets on Bitcoin. But the main thesis from day one is then Bitcoin will retest the 200-week moving average at below $60,000, wherever it ends up being, before a new all-time high is made. We are getting closer to that, not further away. So from the top, from making a new all-time high, it's currently down 33%, and it was down 36%. Right now, that's another 31% drop. We are getting closer to my thesis playing out than away from it. The probabilities are increasing that I'm going to be right about my thesis compared to the talking heads of $250,000 Bitcoin by the end of 2025. What? My thesis of Bitcoin retesting 200-week moving average before $180,000 Bitcoin by the talking heads by end of January, in 2 days from now. They're talking about that on TV early January. Many are getting it wrong. Not the first time I've seen it, but the second time I've seen it on the cycles. People still posting parabolic. You're still posting parabolic trends while the weekly chart is bearish. Makes zero sense. You're still bullish on Bitcoin, even though MicroStrategy is crashing. MicroStrategy is down 74% and crashing below the 200-week moving average. And you're still bullish on Bitcoin making a new all-time high. I'm not saying bullish on Bitcoin in general as an asset class. I'm talking about that we are in a bull run still. This is the canary in the coal mine. I've talked about it in the past. It was the canary in the coal mine back in 2021. It was the canary in the coal mine on some of the moves to the upside. And it's been the canary in the coal mine again to the downside. So it's still the canary in the coal mine. Talked about back here, this Adam and Eve double top pattern, right? Talked about it back here, October 6th. Break this and get candle closes below this pivot point at 255. And the probabilities would increase that we would hit the 200-week moving average. And it has. Breaking news. MicroStrategy has retested the 200-week moving average. Not as predicted, but definitely as anticipated. We don't predict the markets. We speculate and we draw probabilities of what could happen, but we don't have a magic crystal ball. Sometimes it might feel like it, but we do not have a magic crystal ball, and we will be humbled. We will be humbled. I took a 6.7% loss on Path. Oh, the one gotcha guy, right? The one gotcha guy. Mighty Kirk. Yep. Market Sniper. Mighty Kirk, have you seen oh, I talked about the upgrades on big stuff coming out. Let's talk about it. But MicroStrategy is still the canary in the coal mine. Yes, it's getting oversold. Yes, it's getting oversold. We expect bounces. We expect those bounces to get sold off. It did. Didn't even bounce as high as I was thinking it might. But we expected the bounces to get sold off, and here we are. It's possible this Adam and Eve double top pattern plays out and price goes below $100 and price goes down to below $80, wherever it ends up, right? We don't have a magic crystal ball. We just have ideas of where it could go. And it's possible. Well, Bitcoin is following MicroStrategy. And Bitcoin has retested 200-week moving average in the past. And Bitcoin has already hit it on and gone below it against gold. So Bitcoin is crashing. It hasn't crashed as much on the dollar because the dollar was also crashing, but it is crashing. And the dollar is flat today. So you're seeing a bigger move down on Bitcoin. But I think I even have against the euro, and the euro is crashing. It's $70,000 against the euro, right? Or 70,000. So it only got up to 107. But since the dollar has been dropping as well, Bitcoin against the dollar is still looking at higher prices. But it's crashing more against the euro, and it's definitely crashing more against gold, right? And it's below the 200-week moving average. So against the dollar, it's not, but it's starting to catch up. And the thesis remains the same from the top. We are going back to retest the 200-week moving average. And the unpopular opinion is that the 200-week moving average is the true value of an asset. And why do I say that? Not because of fundamentals, not because of anything else other than it's the long-term moving average. And if price gets too far extended above or too far extended below, price comes back to retest it. So over time, the true value is the 200-week moving average. And you can see it. Oh, I'm pointing to the screen. You can see follow along right here with the MA price, right? It's a SMA weekly chart. It's up, it's up, it's up. So you could say it's up only, it's up only, it's up only, but at much lower than what people are calling for 1 million Bitcoin, right? 2023, 30,000, 33,000, 35. So yes, it's increasing slowly over time, but not $1 million Bitcoin, right? 50, 54, 56, 57, 57,981. So the unpopular opinion is that Bitcoin's true value is a 200-week moving average, and it got very extended away from it at 126. Not as much as it got extended away from it in November 2021, and not as extended away from it as it did back in December 2017, assuming that the 200 would have been at about $2,200. It got very extended away, and it came back to it. Got extended away at 14,000, came back to it, and below it back 5,000, right? Went up to 68,000, came back to it at 22,000. Came too far below it at 15,900, came back to it at 25,000, right? Got extended away at 126, and the probabilities continue to increase that we are going to go down and retest the 200-week moving average. Weekly close below this pivot point here at 86,663 signals for the downside. I've already called it out. It already happened. It already happened. That pivot point was already closed lower here. And I posted about it and I said, and I probably talked about it on Monday, the live stream. I said it already took out that pivot point. It's already made a new low on the weekly chart. And it's the lowest weekly candle close since April 2025. It's almost February 2026. So it's going lower. After that close, it pumped back up, back tested 90,000 and is resuming lower, right? This chart was put out on, well, we're still going to cover the weekly chart. We're still going to cover the 2-week chart, 3-week chart, monthly chart. And then, of course, we're going to get into everything else as well. Real quick, we don't have any sponsors. We don't have any sponsors. Never take $1 affiliate money. So we got to do a quick plug. Just real quick. Just bear with me here. I think I've earned it, right? These are free live streams. I think I've earned it. I've never taken $1. I was DM'd again by another exchange, and I said, "Are you still restricted in the US?" And they said, "Yes, but we have top influencers who are in the US who promote this exchange." And I was going to respond, and I didn't. But my response is, just because there are US bigger influencers that have 200, 400 plus thousand followers, just because they're taking affiliate money, even though they don't use the product or service legally themselves, if they're using it at all, probably not, and they're promoting something, doesn't mean I'm going to promote something that I don't believe in. And if I can't use it legally in the US, how could I believe in the product or service that you're offering? So therefore, the integrity is not for sale. If there's something I believe in one day that I would promote, like if I use TradingView every day, like if TradingView wanted to pay me, but they don't do that. They give me an affiliate link. I don't share the affiliate link. I probably should, but I don't. I don't even share the affiliate link for TradingView, right? I've never even made $1 in TradingView, but they do give me free accounts, so I appreciate them. Weekly chart, post this on the 10th. We'll get into it. We're going to dive in deeper. But real quick, you can come over to the dashboard. We're building this out. Multiple things in the dashboard. Screener, rolling out the alerts. You can screen it. You can push it through to the chart view. And then we're already at the newer updated version. We just haven't rolled it out yet. We already have an updated version. And the updated version, it's just going to get wild, right? Maps out trading trend lines for you. Bullish divergence on the MACD, bullish divergence on RSI, all of that, right? You can stay within after screening the stocks, crypto, or stocks, crypto, or ETFs. And right now we were at 8,800 and we dialed back so we can add a different data source to get us to 20,000, right? So we're going to get to 20,000. We're not going to do penny stocks, but we're going to build it out to where we get to 20,000 to filter down to whatever you want, like 5 or 10, right? So you add the filter, let's say RSI divergence, let's say MACD divergence, and it drops down to 70. Add filter, RSI, come in here. You can change this to say 45, right? Brings up some assets. You click on it. Bada bing, bada boom. Shows it to you. You can switch it to the weekly chart. You have to line it up with the weekly chart on previous. You can push it to TradingView. Sniper Assist coming soon. We haven't rolled this out yet. We're still training and building it out, and it costs money, right? It costs money for all that. So you're going to be able to analyze the charts with AI right there, full breakdown, add alerts, all that stuff, right? Close out of all that. charts coming soon, setups, community, recorded coaching videos, and AI. All going to be tied back in together. So there you go. Now back to the analysis. So you get all of that for $4,800. Isn't that crazy? Come on, isn't that crazy? You got to admit that's crazy. Where's that? Let's go. $49. It's not going to be $49 forever, but talks about the features, all that stuff, plans. We got one plan, it's $49 a month. So it's not going to be like that forever, but you would be grandfathered in. So last thing I'm going to say about it. Weekly chart, we put out this fractal and this chart with all the targets back on October 10th. Today is January 29th, 2026. So October 10th, we put this chart idea out. We have put on log, right? And let's say, let's put it back up like this, right? For now, we'll have to adjust it in real time, right? Because the most important thing is buying that right dip, right? Buying that right dip. That's the most important. So here we are on the weekly chart, had the weekly sell signal, but we did post it back here on October 10th. The weekly sell signal was on October 13th. So it was probably, starting to be a pending sell signal on the weekly chart already, and so on and so on and so on. And we originally posted it based off with the Heikin-Ashi. And we talked about earlier in this week that this Heikin-Ashi weekly candle did not have a wick, and sometime a wick to the upside. So a lot of times that is bullish strength. Bearish strength to the downside. And of course, it would be bullish strength to the upside. And so you had that back here November 3rd, the week of November 3rd. And then you're having it again on January 26th. You had it back here. And so the trend is down. The trend is down. The trend is not up. The trend is down. And we've been saying that since October 10th. We put out the Wyckoff distribution October 8th. We called out all the bearish divergence. Even before that, we've called out, hey, MicroStrategy is in a bear market. It's usually the canary in the coal mine. Be aware. And that was even way before the bearish divergence fully played out. It was way before Bitcoin made a new all-time high. So we've been prepared. We've been prepared. What else? I might sneeze. Got a couple comments here. H Smith 4100. What's up? What's up? What's up? Hey mate. Interested in Global Atomic Corp TSX could be okay. Yeah, we can take a look at it in the second half. Stick around. Sometimes I feel guilty for only paying 40. Before we had all these sniper tools like really dialed in, recorded coaching was still worth $79 a month, in my opinion. And I think it was a couple months ago you said the $49 is worth the recorded coaching by itself. There's 70 plus hours of doing a deep dive of everything about trading and my strategy and all that stuff. So we've come a long way and we've kept it at $49. So if you stick around, Mighty Kirk, you'll always pay $49. Cancel anytime if you want. We're not trying to hold your subscription $49 hostage. Many, not as many, but many take advantage of the $490. I actually hope people don't do the $490 because then the monthly subscription averages out to $40 a month. So I actually kind of hope people don't do that. But we offer it. It's 2 free months per year, basically. And it averages out to $40. So 40, it's too cheap in my opinion. Probably should at least change that to save 1 month for the year, but it's okay right now. Once we roll out AI for sure, I don't think we're gonna be able to do $49 a month. We're gonna have to charge more. So consider this your Black Friday quarter because we've already had it at $49 for 3 months. Yeah. We'll come back to it. So weekly chart on Bitcoin is bearish. Let's get back on the regular candles. We've been talking about it. We're back into target 2. Target 3 would be next. The probabilities continue to increase that we're going to go down and hit target 3. That would be below 76,000, which I was talking about. But there's some support, weekly support at 78,000. Could wick down to 76,000. Maybe it holds for a little bit. Maybe it doesn't. And then target 3. And then, of course, I took it off log. Yeah, took it off log. So it changes. That's why I have to keep adjusting it. In the past, Bitcoin has hit target 3. In the past, Bitcoin has hit the 200-week moving average every time. In the past, Bitcoin has hit target 4. And just the recent past of 2022, Bitcoin still hit all 5 targets to the downside. And Bitcoin would be at $40,000. My thesis still remains we are in a bear market, and it's possible it plays out similar to 2022 with bullish divergence at the bottom, and then we're buying the right dip again. The one caveat, the one asterisk next to that is that if, and I've been talking about this, and I even talked about in 2022, but if Bitcoin ever experiences a dot-com bubble-like crash, if Bitcoin ever experiences a 2008-like crash, it's still a high-risk asset, in my opinion. It's still treated I treat it as a tech stock, right? It could be a store of value, I guess, if you look at, 15 years of Bitcoin history. But as swing trading, I still treat it as a tech stock. It's very volatile still. And so if it goes through if the stock market goes through a major correction, we're talking 50, 60, 70+%, Bitcoin will most likely be trading below target 5. So that's the one caveat. But I'm going to stick with my main thesis of retesting 200-week moving average. In the past, it has gone below it. In the past, it has gone all the way to target 5. It's possible it does it again with that one thing, so I won't be just automatically dollar cost averaging. I'll be looking to buy the right dip, just like I did in January 4th, 2023. We called out the bullish divergence, and I bought at 16,800 with 5x leverage, right? So that was my first long on Bitcoin, was after the bear market, was January 4th, 2023. So did pretty good on that one. I don't know if I would call it, I don't know, it seemed too easy. I don't know if it was top 5 just because, I left my top 5 trades for like Bitcoin and Ethereum when they were 10x leverage. But I only did a 5x leverage, but it seemed too easy. So probably could have been close to top 5 trade, right? Good. Long time market sniper. What's up? Eventually you got to check out the portal. You're missing out, my man. You're missing out. In my opinion, you're missing out. Don't get left behind. So that's Bitcoin weekly chart. Let's look at the 2-week chart. 2-week chart also has a bearish engulfing candle. It doesn't close for 3 more days, but most likely also bearish engulfing candle. pretty much bearish engulfing candle, usually doesn't signal that it's bullish. You had a bullish engulfing candle, right? Bullish engulfing candle, bearish engulfing candle. So I'm sure you can find times where it doesn't work out. Don't ever expect it to work out 100% of the time. But the probabilities continue to increase. The bearish engulfing candle in the 3-week chart, multiple candle closes below the red trending dots, 2-week chart below the trending dots, as we continue to talk about, not seen since, you guessed it, 2022, right? Red trending dots and candle closes below on the 3-week chart, not seen since 2022. So here we are again. Monthly chart, multiple candle closes below the trending dots, multiple candle closes below the trending dots on the monthly chart, bearish divergence on the monthly chart, RSI sell signal back in November, MACD bearish crossover back in November, right? These are all, monthly chart is lagging. The monthly chart is lagging. So we've been talking about it since October, and then the November cross happens, confirming. It's a lagging confirmation. People still calling for new all-time highs. Was it possible? I guess, but less likely, low probability. We were talking about it back in October. We were talking about the bearish divergence, and then the crossover was happening in real time in November. We talked about it early November about the crossover. Early November, the crossover. Talked about the bearish divergence, right? The bearish divergence on you got the histogram, bearish divergence. And then you have the bearish divergence to the red, right? Bearish divergence telling us, hey, price is going higher and the histogram is going lower. Momentum is leaving. Hey, price is going higher and there's bearish divergence on the histogram. Momentum is leaving, not increasing. It's increasing to the downside, not to the upside. This was a crossover to the upside. This is momentum starting to fade to the downside, right? Momentum is fading to the downside, and momentum is finally gaining heading into January 2023. Then we're having a crossover. Then we're going to have bullish momentum, right? That's just on the MACD. It's a free indicator. Over here, the indicator is telling you bearish divergence. Then there's additional bearish divergence on the monthly. And then there's additional bearish divergence on the monthly. And then we start to see candle closes below. It's bearish. It's a reversal, right? Going over to Bitcoin versus gold. That for the first time in Bitcoin history, the 200-week moving average, Bitcoin versus gold, has started to downslope. That's not bullish. That's bearish. If you look at the 200-week moving average, Bitcoin versus gold, 21.91. This is on the monthly chart, and it changes for each chart. 21.88. 21.89, slightly higher. 21.91. If you don't see what I'm talking about, it's right up here. You can follow along. 89, 91, 88, 82. It's currently at 82. Go to the weekly chart, right? It's a 200-week moving average. And on the 2-week chart, you've got decreasing 89, 90, 90, 89, all the way down to 82, right? It's decreasing. This never happened in the history of Bitcoin. A downward sloping 200-week moving average. This time is different on Bitcoin versus gold. So something to pay attention to. On the monthly chart, the other thing I pointed out, this is the first time in Bitcoin versus gold history that the monthly RSI is at 37.5. Now, people argue, oh, that's bullish and we're at the bottom. No, it means it's more bearish than it was until proven otherwise. It's more bearish than it was even back in 2022. It's more bearish than it was in 2019. It's more bearish than it was in 2015 on the monthly RSI, which means price is most likely going to catch up and it's going to get more bearish. This is Bitcoin versus gold, right? So it might not be done until October 26th, 2026. You can see the first initial drop was June 2022, and RSI closed at 41-ish. Then created bullish divergence on the lower time frames, right? Well, against the US dollar at least. But it did go lower at under 41, right? Still took some time to play out. And from this pivot point, 2015, to this pivot point, 48 months. The next one, 47. If we did 46, that would still line up with October 2026, right? So it's possible we are in January is almost over, but we are in month 37. We are in month 37. February would be month 38. So if we got February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, and then October. So 9 months. We are trending in the wrong direction. Momentum is to the downside on higher time frames. People are still calling for parabolic moves to the upside. They don't even read momentum correctly. This is basic stuff. And if you're getting wrapped up in that, you're not able to block out the noise. You need to trust the charts, and you're going to get a dose of reality. You're getting a dose of reality. I'm going to give you real stuff. I could grow much faster with bullish charts forever. If I only post up arrows, my follower count would be double. There are many accounts, I'm not going to name names, that I had more followers than. And they only post up arrow onlys, even all through 2022, even since October. And it's proven to work. It's proven to work. It's a strategy for them to grow. I used to think they just didn't know, and I tried to teach them. But now I realize it's a strategy for clicks. And I realized that in 2022. 2021, going into 2022, quarter one, quarter two, I was trying to teach them that they're wrong. Explain to them why they're wrong. And then I realized they still gain more followers and more clicks than I do in a bear market posting up arrow owners. So it's an actual strategy for them to grow as influencing and then post the affiliate links. It's a strategy. And so that's their business. So I don't try to educate them or update their strategy, right? But for my purposes, I'm always committed to showing you what I see in the charts, right or wrong, more right than wrong, but I'll never be 100% right. Never. I will never be 100% accurate. But I'm very confident that I'm going to be more right than I am wrong. And I have been. And I have a proven record of that. So I've got like 36,000 posts on X, 7,500 posts in Discord still. I don't delete them. I don't have time to delete them. London, UK, not so sexy news, aka Lawrence. What's up, my man? Thanks for always commenting, helping the algorithms on both X and YouTube. I appreciate that. So this is never two things have never happened in Bitcoin versus gold. Bitcoin versus gold has never reached these levels of momentum to the downside ever. And it was cut short to the upside, cut short to the upside, cut short to the upside, cut short. So downward sloping, downward sloping. So does that mean we're going to get a bigger correction on Bitcoin versus gold than in the past? Possibly. Bitcoin versus gold. Will Bitcoin versus the dollar catch up to that? Possibly. We don't know. We're just looking at all the charts. Starting to get bearish on Bitcoin versus the euro. Getting closer on the dollar, which means momentum is going to the downside on the monthly chart faster, right? But for this purpose right here, you can see it. Oops. MACD, Bitcoin versus gold, right? Also had bearish divergence. Crossed over sooner in August 2024. Crossed over the same time, January 2022, as Bitcoin versus the dollar. So I think that's about it. Currently down like Bitcoin versus the gold, almost 62%. So over here, the bottom was 76% against gold. So it's going fast. It's going fast. So, anyways, let's keep going. Let's just get rocking and rolling more and more and more. And we're gonna cover altcoins still. We're still gonna cover some stocks and Magnificent Seven. Microsoft dropping out the bottom. A lot to cover today, so we won't spend as much time as we did on Bitcoin. We're already over. We started at 8:30 with the chart, so 45 minutes into it. XRP. A lot of these I'm just going to show on the weekly chart because XRP is still bearish. We talked about, if XRP way back, we said if XRP starts closing below here, this is kind of like that confirmation line of MicroStrategy. And we had that close here. Then price pumped all the way back up, retested the trailing dots, 240. Okay. Came back down and took this pivot point out again. Came back up for another back test of that horizontal pivot. And now it's resuming lower. The probabilities continue to increase no matter how much adoption, no matter how much the financial system is switching over to XRP, whatever your narratives are or thoughts. My thoughts are XRP is coming back to the 200-week moving average, right? That's my thought. Ethereum trending towards the 200-week moving average. Chainlink back below the downward sloping 200-week moving average. That's not good. When the 200-week moving average started to downward slope, the probabilities were increasing that we were not going to make new all-time highs. $53. And the highest it got was $31. Why? Because it's downward sloping. It's a longer-term bearish. Downward sloping December, January 2025 for Cardano. Never made a new all-time high. Got to $1.30. All-time high was over $3. Below the 200. The trending dots are back below the 200-week moving average. Last time that happened was August 2022. And it remained bearish for a while. And you could argue it's been in a bear market since August 2021 with bounces along the way. Same with Algorand. There were some nice epic bounces back in November 2024. That was an epic 350%, 400% bounce. And that was it. Some smaller bounces, but that was it. H bar, come back to the 200, below the 200. XLM, coming back to the 200, downward sloping. Near, below the 200-week moving average, downward sloping. Still bearish. Never made a new all-time high. Never made a new all-time high. Bitcoin dominance. Let's see. Where are we at? Yeah, I guess. Not really doing too much. MicroStrategy. The thesis was once the top is in, we come back to the 200-week moving average. If you go to the daily chart, we covered this. I posted about this. I talked about the bearish engulfing candle, and I put out, is the top in? Question mark. Bearish engulfing candle. Is the top in? Question mark. And then I changed it to the top was in. The top was in. The top was in. And we came all the way down 50, 60% correction. Then there's a relief rally. Then there's the Adam and Eve double top pattern, right? Then we had the Adam and Eve double top pattern. And then we put this out showing the Adam and Eve double top pattern back on October, right? Bearish engulfing candle. We said if price starts closing below this pivot point, similar to XRP that I just showed, the probabilities continue to increase that we're going to go hit the 200-week moving average. And it just did. So foresight is greater than hindsight. And in hindsight, I was right. And there's no black swan. This happened. We covered it every single day. We were not surprised by it. We've been talking about it since the top. We've been talking about it. We've been talking about it. We've been talking about it. We've been mapping all this out. This is not a black swan event. This is purely the charts. It went multiple deviations above the 200, and now it's coming back to the 200. You can't make it any more simplified than that. It went multiple deviations above the 200-week moving average. Think about it as stretching, and I talked about this in recorded coaching many times. Pull a rubber band, stretch it out to the left. Can you see this? Oh. Pull the rubber band out to the left. Am I going the wrong way? I don't know. Let's do it this way. There we go. I'll do it backwards. Pull the rubber band out. Let it go. And it comes back. And not only does it come back, sometimes it goes the other way, right? Or a pendulum, whatever analogy you want to use. But it went multiple deviations above. The rubber band was pulled, and stretched. And now it's snapping back to where you let go. It's snapping back to the 200-week moving average and probably below. And if it comes back down to this range, you've got support down here, right? If you're looking at this weekly chart, there's support down there. There's support there, and that kind of lines up. So the Adam and Eve target lines up with long-term weekly support. It may take a long time to get down there. It may not happen overnight. So we talked about, in the past, it stayed below the 200 for a very long time on MicroStrategy. It stayed below the 200 on MicroStrategy from May 2022, basically up and down, till October 2023, before the final breakout and bull run. 532 days. And it's a longer bear market than Bitcoin in the past. You could say top to bottom, 687 days. top to bottom, 88% correction. And you could say before a bull run really starts and gets going, 980 days. So, like I said, it will take a while for the ship to get turned around. And then it does. And then we experience another bull run, right? So, assuming we get another one, there's never a guarantee. Intel has still never made a new all-time high from the dot-com bubble crash. Some altcoins will never go on to make a new all-time high. Some stocks will never go on to make a new all-time high after 80, 90% correction. Some will, some won't. That's why I don't hodl indefinitely. Looking to position myself nicely for Netflix and Oracle. Danielson 467. Strategy Inc. Like you have speculated leads away from. Yes. And it's not just this cycle. We talked about it and used it back here in September. It was breaking out to make new all-time highs. Bitcoin was at $65,000. And I said, is MicroStrategy still the canary in the coal mine? And MicroStrategy was already making new all-time highs. Bitcoin was at 65,000, hadn't made a new all-time high from the consolidation. And in hindsight, that was correct. Bitcoin went on to make new all-time highs. That was at 65,000. So we used canary in the coal mine on the upside too, not just the downside. Always trade the chart in front of you first and foremost, but look for possible leading and lagging like assets. Could give you the edge if you pick the right one. If you pick the right comparison, it could give you the edge. When I shorted Ethereum in the end of 2021 at 4,384, I did a side-by-side comparison with Bitcoin for 2 days. Everyone was saying Ethereum was going to $10,000, $8,000. Some crazy analysts who have 1 million followers who are XYZ, was calling for 20,000 ETH. There was some calling for $250,000 ETH. $250,000 ETH, no lie. They probably deleted that video. But some of the quote unquote experts who are making better calls now were calling $250,000 ETH back then. And they were calling for that in September of 2025, September of 2021. So a couple of months before they're calling for $250,000 Bitcoin. So never forget. I thought Bitcoin for sure was going to go over 100,000, but I never thought Ethereum was going to go 100,000. FICOS 83. Hello. Let's keep going. So that's MicroStrategy. Those are the altcoins. The VIX was up like 17% for a brief moment. Dollar's flat. Volatility is increasing. We'll see if it consolidates on the dollar and breaks out and retests to 200. It's possible. It's possible it took out these wicks and then it goes higher, right? It is possible. What's gold, silver, still bullish on the weekly chart, ultra bullish on the weekly chart. Platinum. Bearish divergence on platinum. We call that out. Possible lower high. We'll see how it closes, but it's still going to be by the dip season until proven otherwise. Has it gotten too far extended? Probably. Will it come back for a pullback? You would expect so. Is this the top? Maybe. But could be a local top first, right? Local top by the dip, local top by the dip, right? So platinum is as example, 50% move, pullback. 28% pullback. 84% probably pullback, right? So it's gone parabolic. But there is bearish divergence. So could have a pullback, and it's still a buy the dip scenario until proven otherwise. But that could change. It could change. The next buy the dip would be like that, right? The next buy the dip. So however it plays out in real time, we don't have a magic crystal ball. But it starts to look similar over and over and over again, right? However it plays out, still buy the dip season until proven otherwise. It could prove otherwise. Weekly chart is still ultra bullish though. So bearish divergence on the weekly chart, right? So probably a local top, but doesn't mean it's the top. The training dots still have to catch up, go through all of that topping pattern, all that stuff, right? You look at the monthly chart, it's ultra bullish. So if there starts to be right now, I can't say it's the top. Like remember, Bitcoin went through like bearish divergence on the monthly chart. I'm not saying that platinum's going to give us a long-term bearish divergence. I'm just saying it's too early to call it. It looks way different, right? Remember, Bitcoin started to decrease on the histogram in the monthly chart and started to curl over, and then created that divergence and then started the red candles down, right? So that's not what we're seeing right now. We are still seeing more of this uptrend, right? Green uptrend. And then it starts to decrease. And then, of course, it's lagging. But it's possible it does one of these, right? And then has that big move up to the upside. So this was monthly chart to there. It's about 2,000 days, went up 350%, right? This is only 300 days so far, 142%. So might not be done. Could be a local top and a pullback, but until proven otherwise, it's still a buy the dip scenario. It's buy the dip until proven otherwise. So that's how the setups would look. If it remains ultra bullish, maybe it doesn't correct as far. But since it bounced 84%, it's possible it corrects more to build up more energy and go. So that's actually healthier for the next bigger move up. Palladium, uranium, palladium. I did a whole side-by-side analysis with I wouldn't say a full analysis, but I put out some targets on palladium as a potential with the side-by-side comparison of silver. Whether that works out or not, we don't know. But if it did, could be massive. So buy the dip opportunity on palladium, possibly waiting for, if you're waiting for a pullback or whatever, is a sniper way. Copper, Bullish on the daily chart. Weekly chart is ultra bullish. 2-week chart. Palladium has not made a new all-time high. Silver, copper, and platinum has. So is it lagging time-wise? Ooh, that's a good question. That's a good question. You look at the monthly chart, right? Then you look at copper or platinum, right? First orange candle. First orange candle has not made a new all-time high yet. So what if? What if? We don't know, but what if? Let's switch gears over to the Magnificent 84.7. Let's see. Let's update this. Microsoft monthly chart is a pending sell signal below the trending dots. 2-week chart already had sell signals below the trending dots. 3-week chart, pending sell signal on the 3-week chart. Probably coming back to the 200-week moving average. Weekly chart already had a sell signal back on the week of November 17th. It's been bearish ever since. Bearish engulfing candle again. Daily chart, pending sell signal, huge gap down. Hit all 4 targets to the downside. So bearish divergence, we talked about it. Target 1, target 2. Definitely don't want to take out that pivot point. It did. Target 2, target 3. Bounce back up right before the close. Gap down. Huge gap over here for a Microsoft. And seems like it wants to get filled. It's already starting to partially fill that gap, right? Now, there's a new gap. So when gaps work great for targets, but they don't always get filled, or at least right away. So there's a gap here, and there's a gap here. This one is left open from April 2025. So it's possible, you see something like come down, gap, maybe bounce, fill that gap, and then we'll see after that, right? Or it fills that gap sooner. We don't know. But right now it's bearish on daily chart, weekly chart, 2-week chart, 3-week chart, monthly chart. It's bearish on Microsoft, and it's dropping. And it's down 24% from the top. By any definition in the stock market, if it's in a prolonged downtrend for 6 months, it's a bear market. It's only been 3 months. If it's a 20% correction or more, it's a stock market bear market. And so that's like more for like SP 500 and NASDAQ probably. But tech stocks, maybe you think of it as a higher percentage. But this is such a large market cap. I think it applies more to Microsoft than it does, say, Palantir, right? Palantir is also dropping. And just the other day, we posted that breaking news, PLTR, Palantir. I don't know why I call it tar. Palantir. Yep. Was pending weekly sell signal. And that was back up at like 160. Now we're down at 150. So here we are. You take out this pivot point on the weekly chart, that's bearish. That would mean this lower high is confirmed. So we're getting close to confirming a lower low, a lower high with another lower low, right? So yeah, the bearish divergence. You had the bearish divergence, you had the lower high, and now it's breaking back down. You get that sell signal, you get that close below that on the weekly chart, and the probabilities will continue to increase of coming all the way back down. So, daily chart is starting to get ultra bearish. The daily chart is starting to get oversold, but could remain oversold. A candle close below this pivot point, same thing as what I'm talking about on the weekly chart, would confirm these lower highs with the lower low. That would be a lower low. Taking on this pivot point, another lower low, right? And so on and so on and so on. SMCI, never hit these targets. Expect the bounces to get sold off. The bullish divergence was cleared. Might as well just take these targets off. So when the higher time frames are bearish, and if you're taking breakouts and you're hitting buy signals, don't forget to hit the sell signal. Don't forget to have a plan mapped in place. I didn't trade this myself, but it's come back. It comes back down, and if it does put in a higher low, those targets are still currently valid. But you know, I personally would have been out already if I was in that trade. Obviously, none of this is financial advice. Obviously, it's for educational purposes only, and hopefully have a little bit of fun along the way, like making fun of me for mispronouncing your name. Woo! What else? TQQQ, ANF, Netflix, ultra bearish on the daily chart. Didn't someone talk about buying Netflix? I don't know. Maybe we'll come back to it. But that's the daily chart, ultra bearish. The weekly chart, maybe it won't build out a right shoulder. I don't know. I was thinking if it, but could take out these pivot points over here on the weekly chart. That's not good. The probabilities continue to increase that we're going to go down and retest the 200-week moving average. It's only $20 away. It was 67. It was $70 away, right? Now it's $20 away. So we're getting closer. Tesla breaking down. We talked about it. We covered it. Talked about the bearish divergence. Talked about it looked like Wyckoff distribution. Came all the way down, punked back up, tested the trailing dots, broke back down, and now it's trending downward, right? So we originally had the arrow up here. Don't want this is a bull trap. Pumped up, came right back down, right? That's a bull trap. So if it gets back below with candle closes like it did, red arrow down. Then we move the red arrow down over here, and that's where we're at. Bearish engulfing candle over here. Take out this pivot point. Then we'll find out it takes this pivot point. Tiny small gap over here. Probably wants to fill in this area over here too, right? Probably wants to fill in this area. Probably wants to fill that area in. Small gap there too. That's like a miniature gap. But let's put it on. Seems like it wants to fill that area. It's top heavy, right? It's standing on one leg. Like the way I look at it, it's like standing on one leg. It didn't like build up a lot of energy and then break out. It broke out and now it's getting top heavy. It's getting heavy. I don't know if this one leg support can hold it. There's a little tiny one over here too, but that's just the kind of the way I look at it. Amazon NVIDIA, lower high, question mark. I still have to redraw these slightly. They're based off of this high, but took out the wick, took out a bunch of stops, most likely, right? And then reverses back down. So Apple flat, still bearish on the daily. Meta, woo, Meta. We had this gapped out, mapped out. We had this gapped out, right? Mapped out on the gaps. So gap down, filled this gap, bounce, 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 and then they gapped it up to fill this gap. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. But this has been filled, right? So that gap's been filled. It was a newer gap, but when I put it on, it was a new gap. Gap fill. Okay. Got some small gaps below, and then you have a new gap here. That one could be a new gap, right? Gapalicious. So they gapped it to fill the gap. They gapped it to push it down to fill this gap. So good luck. Good luck trading that. Good luck. $84,700 Bitcoin. 84,700. I'll take a quick break, and then we'll start doing the chart requests when we come back on. I still have a little bit of water. Glow. Glow. All right, let's look at Glow, Global Atomic Corporation on TSX. Global Atomic Corporation. Daily chart. What do they do? Non-energy minerals, other metals, minerals. Okay. Smaller market cap. It's not in the billions. Just curious. Daily chart. Mm-hmm. Well below a downward sloping 200-week moving average. Let's look at the weekly chart. Ooh, massive hit. Could be a 10x uranium play. Huh. Uh, mm-hmm. Weekly chart. There's bullish divergence on the 2-week chart. Actually, bullish divergence. Is the bottom in? Getting buy signals on the 2-week chart above the trending dots. Another positive. MACD is not above the zero line yet. That's a negative. On the 2-week chart. It is on the weekly chart. 3-week chart. We're getting candle closes back above the trending dots. There was a RSI buy signal. MACD is inching. It's trending towards the zero line, which is another bullish milestone. Monthly chart. Trying to get a candle close back above. Bullish crossover. So, looking at it from while the higher time frames continue to try to flip bullish, is the bottom in? Could be, but I'm not seeing a 10x yet, right? Because while the monthly chart flips bullish and stuff, right? It might go through, like, you even have a wick, you even have a gap down here. So it's possible it just takes some time for the ship to retest the 200-week moving average. Might get rejected the first time, might spike through, then come back down. So, I mean, I don't know anything about this company or the chart itself, but as the higher time frames are flipping around, it could be going through more of this, right? It's going through a bottoming phase. So, however the bottoming phase plays out, could take some more time to build up energy. You probably lose interest by then, and then it takes off to the upside. So, and there's never a guarantee, uh, but that's what I'm kind of seeing right now. So there are positives that the ship is turning around, but it hasn't fully turned around yet. There are positives, but it hasn't fully turned. So, like if you're thinking it's buy the dip season, just know that you know it's buy the dip season with still a little bit of caution. The monthly chart hasn't fully flipped. There's some pending buy signals on the 3-week, 2-week, whatever, and still well below the 200-week moving average. It's still bearish overall. Could it retest it? Sure. When? Who knows? Right? Who knows? And that would be a nice bounce, but it is down right now. So, what else? What else? Yeah. So, someone was asking, you're referring to Bitcoin, right? So Bitcoin, couple things. When I was talking about a relief rally, we talked about it was lesser to the downside, so probably lesser relief rally. And I thought that if we did come down to these levels first, then the relief rally percentage would have been higher, in my opinion. And we didn't get lower. So lesser to the downside, lesser to the upside. And this target box, not on every single exchange, but most of the exchanges hit both of the exact same two targets it did in 2022. So we had it mapped out in advance. Even before it broke the trend lines, we had it mapped out. Even before it was breaking out, right? Even back here, we already had those targets on. Like as soon as it started to flip back around here, we had this target. And it's the same target we had in 2022. And there was two major reasons for that target, and both of them were hit. Now there was one exchange that only hit one out of the two. Like only one out of the two targets lined up within this box. So that was one thing we kept an eye on, but the other exchanges all hit the same box, right? So that's where we're back into longer term target 2 as well. $84,000 Bitcoin. So on the relief rally, someone asked me, do you think you'll get to $110,000? I'm like, no. Is it possible? Sure, it was possible, but back here, I was saying, I think this is the last time you're going to be able to sell your Bitcoin at $110,000 for a long time, and so far that's still true. So far, it's still true. I thought maybe from 97,000 to 103 was a strong possibility. Like I was very confident 97, maybe 101, maybe 103, right? Like you heard that in my voice, like 97,000, maybe that psychological value of 100 didn't even hit that. Got almost to 98,000. 101 to 103, there was a lot of reasons, but couldn't even get there. And in hindsight, it hit the exact same target on most of the exchanges as it did in 2022. So we were prepared for it. We drew that target out down here based off of a lot of that. And here we are now. below $84,000. We talked about it. We talked about it. We talked about it, and we're still talking about it. Weekly chart. We talked about the bearish engulfing candle was not bullish. Came all the way back. We were thinking that it would at least retest the weekly trending dots. It didn't. It got close, and now the trending dots are below that wick. So it's a downtrend until proven otherwise. Like I've been saying. So there's plenty of so-called experts saying I was wrong again. And again, in hindsight, they were wrong. Right? So trust what you see in the charts, block out the noise, and we'll continue this watch party. And if anyone else has any other things they want me to chart or whatever, I can hop back on. But when the music's playing, it's just a watch party. So we'll see if anything else happens. But 84,000 right now. Here, let me change the banner. Let me edit that. Watch party. If music is on. Save. And on. And on. Bearish engulfing candle on the 3-month chart. Bearish engulfing candle on the 3-month chart is not bullish. Bullish engulfing candle on the 3-month chart is bullish. 3-month chart bearish engulfing candle is not bullish. Just thought I wanted to point that out. And you kind of see 3-month support over here lines up at 58,715. There are a lot of major reasons why price is going to come back to this area. So below 60,000, you've got 3-month, you've got the 200-week moving average, you got the trending dots there right now in the 3-month chart, which the 3-month chart ends in April. So probably retest it, right? Probably retest it April or May. Maybe end of March. So a lot of reasons why. Right? You can add this. Yep, 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 yep. Bearish engulfing candle on the 6-month chart. Bearish engulfing candle on the 6-month chart. Bullish engulfing. Bullish engulfing. So Comments. I don't know who that is. I don't know who you're talking about. Yep. I mean, we did a lot of charts. We did charts for over an hour. Hour and a half. I think we did charts for an hour and a half straight. Woo! Probably stay on a few more minutes if nobody else has any other questions. This is your time. Do you have questions? Do you want me to look at charts? This is your time right now. Thirsty Thursdays. I'm out of water, so it won't be long. Thomas, are you in the Discord or the online portal? If not, I just did some targets for Palladium, but I don't think you are. But if you were, just tag me and I could draw all that out for you with real targets, not just target boxes. So Better late than never. Assuming these ETFs like HODL fill a lot of these gaps, just to give you an idea, if HODL is filling this gap at $20, Bitcoin is going to be $70,000 or less. So, there's a lot of gaps on these ETFs since the beginning, just a couple of years ago. So 16% down to there, right? You had a big gap here. It was filled. You got this gap. You got a lot of gaps in one area, right? A lot of gaps in one area. And the all-time low, if it was possible that an ETF comes back to retest the bottom at $11, where would Bitcoin be, right? If it comes back to $11, January 22nd, 2024. January 2nd, 2024. So the all-time low bottom would put Bitcoin at, say, $39,000. So if the Bitcoin ETFs come back to retest the lows, which it started from, it's possible it doesn't. But if it does, Bitcoin would be at 39,000 or below $40,000, somewhere around there. And that would line up with target 5, which is the same target as 2022. So that would be about a 68%, I think. 68%. Bitcoin's never been in a bear market that's gone below it. They've all had a bigger correction than 75%. So just because this is my main thesis that price is going to retest the 200-week moving average, it doesn't mean I don't have additional theses like hitting lower targets, right? So if you look at the lower targets, let's get on the weekly chart. We've already hit all and blasted through longer term target 2 back in November. Now we're back into it again. Target 3, the 200-week moving average. Target 4, which happened in 2022. Target 5, which happened in 2022, would also put it, around that $40,000 level. And the Bitcoin ETFs would be retesting where they launched. So chalk up another reason why you could see price back down there, right? So 38,740, retest where the ETF started. They came out and it's never come for a retest. There's no retest on it, right? If you look at it, there's no retest. Is it always a rule that it has to retest? No. But a lot of times it does retest. So we're trending down. There are a lot of gaps, and it has not retested the initial wick down at just below $11. And if it does, you would see Bitcoin at below $40,000. So, this isn't, you can hear it in my voice that, I'm not a perma bull. I'm not a perma bear. We're just trying to line up the probabilities of what we've seen in the past, what we've watched over the years. I don't even want to think how many charts I've posted. The countless hours that I've studied the charts, including Bitcoin. Been studying Bitcoin and obsessively looking at Bitcoin charts since 2020. So going on, 5.5, 6 years of Bitcoin by itself, right? So no, I wasn't an early adopter. I usually am not an early adapter. I usually like to see if it let someone else early adopt and then see if it works out. And then I always joke around like by the time I get in 2020 in Bitcoin, it's probably late to the party. Well, luckily we had two more bull runs, right? And all of 2022, I said in the Discord a lot and probably on the recorded coaching, just give the market snipers one more bull run. Just give us one more bull run. And please give us bullish divergence at the bottom. And please, market bosses, give us bearish divergence at the top. And both of those things happen. So now in 2026, I can just say because we are greedy, right? We're greedy. Please, market bosses, give us one more bull run. Please, market bosses, give us bullish divergence at the bottom, like you gave us bearish divergence at the top again. Right? That would be amazing. That would be amazing. So, and we'll be there for it. If it happens, amazing. If it doesn't happen, we're not caught off guard thinking $1 million Bitcoin, blah, blah, blah. We are in a power of position. We are watching it unfold in real time. I was buying the right dip. The purpose of all this is to buy the right dip, right? So that's where we're at right now. Last week was a candle close below this pivot point, signaling for the downside. Wicked up. I always say it's not how the candle starts, but it's how it closes. And it started with the wick, and now we're here, right? Now it's pushing down. Now, February could start with the month of February on a monthly candle could start with a quick wick, but overall expecting to be bearish, right? So watch party if music is on. The music is off. But that's where we're currently at right now. Longer term target 2. Let's check the comments, see if there's any questions. Jan Soylent 1695. I don't know what that's referring to, but watch party. So we never expect the fractal to play out exactly. It's just an overall idea, but that's where we're at right now. And there are many reasons for price to come back down and hit target 5, similar to 2022. And then you've already know my thoughts that if we start closing below that, and if the overall stock market is in a longer term bear market, then expect lower. Holy moly guacamole. MicroStrategy is starting to fall out now. I think that's about it. Yeah, I think that's about it. Should we wrap up the watch party? Is anyone else here? Let's see. 83. Ooh, maybe we just keep it on. What do you think? Should we keep it on or should we wrap it up? Covered NASDAQ futures, which I think is more important. So talked about the Adam and Eve double top pattern. Could be unfolding. Bearish engulfing candle. Bearish diversion. Could be a lower high. If so, break this pivot point. Come all the way down. So we covered it. Just didn't spend a lot of time as we did in the past. Yeah. Bearish engulfing. Bearish diversions. We'll see. We'll see. Holding on. Didn't take out that wick. think we're good. So with that, I hope everyone has a good rest of your day. And hopefully you're able to block out the noise. Hopefully you're able to trust the charts. If so, you're in a power position, most likely. And we will continue to sniper the markets together, no matter what the talking heads say, no matter what the news is saying, no matter what politician is saying XYZ, no matter who's buying what. It doesn't matter to me. I only trust the charts. And it doesn't matter what kind of earnings Bitcoin, just kidding, uh, does. Jesse, Bitcoin doesn't do earnings. Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right. That's why it's not on the chart. We will continue to trust what we see on the charts, right or wrong, right more often than wrong, in my opinion. And if you've been following me for any length of time, you would agree probably. And so we'll keep doing our best with that. Hope you have a good rest of your day. And we'll see you on tomorrow's live stream. Probably a lot shorter than today because it will be Friday TGIF. Today is Thirsty Thursday and I'm out of water. But with that, have a good rest of your day. And I appreciate all of your support. And with that, adios.